I'm Luna. I'm an astrologer and tarot reader of over 8 years, and I've had the joy of guiding over 1,000 clients on their own personal astrological journeys. So today we're going to be talking about Aaron and Sam Taylor Johnson. So this has been a couple that's been steeped in controversy. I want to take a look, see the reality of this connection, what is going on here. I think we're all very curious. And if you'd like your own personalized reading, you can head on over to my store, linked in the description. I've moved everything over from Etsy to streamline the process and make booking even easier for you guys. Thank you so much for the overwhelming support. Let's take a look here. So this is their Synastry. We have Aaron in the middle. Let me just double check. Yeah, Aaron in the middle, and then we have Sam on the outer circle. So we don't have a birth time for her. This birth time for Aaron isn't 100% accurate, so I'm really not going to lean into the houses. We're really just going to take a look at the overlays. I mean, not the overlays, their aspects. So first thing I have to say is any single time that you are dealing with a couple where we're dealing with something taboo, you guessed it, Lilith. She's always responsible for anything that you think is morally gray, anything that you think is like ill. Why? Who does that? What the hell? Neptune, Lilith, Mars, Lilith, Venus, it's everywhere. What does this mean? Sometimes a lot of my clients, and even in celebrities, I've noticed Lilith aspects always deal with like something super shady and messy. For example, Ariana and, is it Ariana and Ethan? Yeah, I think like he left his wife and his baby anyway. And that's super crazy and controversial. Sabrina Carpenter and Barry Keoghan. I think his Lilith is like on her Mars, or her Lilith is on his Mars, something like that. I don't recall exactly. He also left another woman with a baby to be with Sabrina, allegedly. These are all alleged. We obviously don't know exactly what happened, but it's taboo just means there is messiness around the relationship, whether or not it is true. And then here we go again. We have a couple with a very interesting timeline, but this time it's age, right? This time it's, well, she met him when he was 17, and you're telling me you guys conveniently got together when he was 18. I can tell you with a Mars-Venus conjunction and Lilith, what we think is probably true. I don't think this is a relationship that started off in the most conventional of ways, and probably not in the most moralistic of ways. However, there is attraction here. Although a lot of you might want me to tell you that he's not attracted to her, that she's a crone, blah, 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 blah. There are a lot of indicators of attraction on both ends. I think Mars and Aries conjunct her Lilith. First off, Mars and Aries men love things they perceive as unattainable. And an older woman, peak chase, right? Mars on her Lilith, he found her more attractive because she was forbidden, right? Whenever you're dealing with Lilith, we're dealing with forbidden desires. And so his Mars on her Lilith, he found her really attractive and tantalizing because she was an older woman, right? His Mars is on her Venus. He finds her incredibly attractive. He's very desiring of her. Now, obviously, he was allegedly a child, right, when they met. And there are power dynamics when we're dealing with Lilith. But Pluto is also responsible for this, which we'll get to in a minute. But essentially, what you have to understand is, number one, Sam, with her Venus and Lilith and Aries, she loves to be chased. Like, that's her favorite thing. Venus and Lilith people, not all, of course, but a lot of Venus Lilith people love to be desired, and they are prone to cheating. So I don't even know, like, whenever we're dealing with Lilith, I'm always like, is there cheating here? Like, I don't know if he was in a relationship, if she was in a relationship, but I think that there's messiness beyond just the age. I think there could be messiness in terms of like relationship status, but also this means that she, even now with his Mars here, she may have a tendency to like to make him jealous, or even to just flirt for the sake of feeling desired. So that's something that she loves. And I think that playing with fire and being like, oh, this person, this guy, like, might be interested in me and he's forbidden, I think that that really made the relationship all the more exciting for both of them. And then we have a Neptune-Lilith conjunction. So her Neptune's on his Lilith. This is a dream girl aspect. This means there's idealism, fantasy, putting people on pedestals. I think he found her incredibly alluring. despite what we might think, I think he really found her very alluring. His Venus on her North Node, that's electric. That's like love at first sight. I do think there was an instant desire on both ends. However, this Venus is in Taurus, and his Lilith is active. And Lilith is also associated with using physical intimacy as a transaction. And Venus in Taurus, in its lower vibration, can manifest as trading love for material things. Now, with his Venus and his part of fortune on her North Node, he sees her as a trophy of some sort. He saw her as his golden ticket for something. And in the sign of Taurus, I mean, he was really young. She might have had money. She might have had an established career. She might have had comfort and indulgence and things to offer him beyond the relationship. And so I do think, at least from his perspective, if I get into his energy, just looking at these synastry aspects, I think from his perspective, he thought she was alluring because she was an older woman. She was kind of unattainable for some reason. Maybe because she was just older than him, right? With Lilith on Neptune, there's like a aspirational energy, and even Venus North Node, there's an aspirational energy there too, which can be also power dynamics. There's power dynamics going on here. But then there's also the, but she could help me. She could give me something, right? There's something that she had that he thought was worthwhile beyond just being someone he, was into. I think that the final nail in the coffin of maybe why he signed his life away with her had something to do with stability, finances, or career things. Because part of fortune on the North Node means he believes he is directly more fortunate as a result of being with her. He might even attribute Venus part of fortune, a lot of his fortune and success in his life to her. With the North Node here, he could have felt like his life dramatically hit a turning point with the North Node here. His fate changed because of her. Like, she had the power to change his fate. And so this goes beyond love. This goes into, again, transactional territory, where he might have felt like, I could give you this and I would gain that, right? And so it's fair. So there's a little bit of that happening. The other thing that's happening is her Mars is in Scorpio, co-present with Pluto. I despise Mars-Pluto contacts in relationships. I was just doing a bunch of Blake and Ryan and Justin readings. Do you want to know the signature that is across all of those charts? A Mars-Pluto conjunction. If you see a Mars-Pluto conjunction, a Mars-Pluto square, but especially the Mars-Pluto conjunction and the square, these two aspects create volatility. It creates I love you, I hate you. It creates control and dominance. It creates power dynamics. It creates submission. You must submit to me. You must give me X, Y, and Z, right? It creates situations where you feel as though love and passion are sometimes violence, sometimes abuse, but more often control. And so what does this mean? It means that for Aaron, he has a Lilith-Pluto conjunction. Number one, he is very turned on and attracted by taboo relationships. He may see the highest octave of love as control in many ways, as possession, right? And she is very possessive of him. And so for him, the idea of having a woman dominate him, Venus in Aries, he has a Mars in Aries. He is drawn to dominant women. He has a Lilith-Pluto conjunction. His dream girl, if you will, is a seductive, powerful woman. Now, we may not see her that way. I mean, she's not the most conventionally attractive woman in Hollywood. However, her energy might be magnetic in a way that when you meet her, she maybe has a really tough, gets what she wants, go-getter energy, right? And he might have been drawn to that. However, her Mars being here means that she feels a need to assert control and possession over him all the time. And what's really interesting too is that because of her Venus-Lilith conjunction, she is also someone who associates possession and control with love. Now, what I will tell you is she keeps him on a tight leash. This aspect, similar to Ryan and Blake, they will not let this person go, right? South Node on his Pluto, her South Node on his Pluto, she feels emotionally tied to him. The South Node is her comfort. It's what she needs. It's even her habits, what she's prone to doing. And when his Pluto's on her South Node, it means she is prone to pulling on the leash and asking for reassurance 100 times. She's like the kind of person who's like, why haven't you called me all day? You haven't texted me good morning. What are you doing? Well, you didn't tell me that you saw this person. Like Mars in Pluto in Scorpio, this is like, she needs to know everything you're up to at all times. We need to be calling all the time, right? She also has this Saturn Chiron conjunction here, which can make her really needy and insecure. Like she needs a lot, like she could be prone to codependency, or like, again, like she needs someone to stabilize her. She needs someone to like be with her all the time, right? His Pluto is in trine to her sun. Obsession, control, and dominance are built into this relationship. And I think they both like it, to be honest. I think this is like cuckoo. Like I read that he like tattooed her name on him. Like he tattooed her name on himself, yeah. That is such a Mars Pluto thing. Like, I want to brand you. You're mine. Like I want the world to know. Even what's really funny about, this Mars Pluto conjunction, and even like the trine to the sun, is that I do think that she has a tendency to feel threatened in the relationship, even if that's not necessarily true. Like even if like the threats aren't really real. With Sun in Pisces or Mercury retrograde, she might misconstrue things, not see things for what they really are. And then like be like, we need to post a picture. We need to post a picture because people are saying that we're not together. Or like if she suspects something's awry, or like he could be talking to someone else, like she might create like, she's like, oh, you should get your name tattooed and like do a photo shoot or something. Like, and it's like calculated. It's like a calculated way to assert her dominance again. She also has this Pluto in Virgo theoretically on his ascendant. If he is a Virgo rising, this is very intense. This means that without her, he doesn't know who he is. What that means is that she has transformed his life. Again, coming back to this North Node Venus part of fortune, I think that he thinks the reason that he has everything he has, a Venus part of fortune conjunction, the reason he's so lucky, he's so successful, he attributes it to her, to meeting her, the North Node in Taurus. He feels like the moment his life changed was the moment he met her. And Pluto on the ascendant, if this is his chart, this is like the moment she met him, she molded him, right? She molded him, and he does not know who he is without her. Pluto square sun. His identity has been shaped by her. And even with Pluto in Virgo, this is a certain kind of control that is disguised as help. So this is like mom energy in some ways. It's like when mom's like, I don't know, like if your mom doesn't want you to go out or something, and then she hides your keys. Or like if your mom is like suspicious about someone and she just looks through your phone. It's like weird boundaries, like no concept of boundaries. Again, because we're dealing with Virgo and like the mutable signs. But it's disguised as love and like this is what's best for you kind of vibe. Like this is what's best for you. And I also feel like she's a little bit erratic with the Pluto-Uranus conjunction. Like she might be a very anxious person. Like these bouts of like control might erupt very randomly. Like she might just suddenly like call him 10 times. Or suddenly like she's hiding his phone or hiding his keys and pretending she doesn't know where they are. Like very, very neurotic energy. Now his energy with the sun here in Gemini, it opposes her moon. This is actually a very good placement to be with someone who has like a sun moon or sun opposition, someone who's your other half. You feel like this person's your other half. But again, moon in Sagittarius is the teacher. This is someone wise, someone who knows a lot, because Sagittarius is the teacher. As they get older, they become the teacher, they become the wise one. Gemini is the student. He looks to her for direction. He looks to her for purpose. He looks to her for guidance. She stabilizes him. And here's the thing, if this is his chart, if this is indeed his birth time, Uranus, Neptune in the 4th house, he also has this moon in Aquarius. This is someone who could have had a very tumultuous or neglectful home life. And a lot of times, men especially who have like difficult relationships with their mother figures or unstable homes, they seek out older women because they're seeking a metaphorical parental figure. Also, his moon in Aquarius, I've noticed moon in Aquarius men gravitate towards older women. Like Aaron Taylor Johnson is one of them. What's his name? Harry Styles also was famously involved in a very taboo, controversial relationship with an older woman several times in his life, actually. Moon in Aquarius men seek out older women. I don't know what the structure is. I think it's maybe because Aquarius is a Saturn-ruled sign and these men feel neglected of nurturing and they seek out older women that dominate them or structure them. His moon, the only thing is that his moon is not really supported in this chart. There's not really any aspects to his moon And the only aspect it makes is actually a square to her Neptune. Ooh, this is codependency. Peak codependent. He doesn't know who he is without her. And honestly, I don't think he wants to leave her per se. I don't think that he knows how to be without her. I think that she's become such an ingrained part of his emotional world. Like, she is his emotional world. She is his coping mechanism. He doesn't know how to function with his own feelings outside of her, right? And he also has this moon square to Lilith innately. Love to him, nurturing to him is controlling. He associates love and nurturing with control and desire. And this is innate to his birth chart. And then also the fact that he got married and had a bunch of kids, like that, like they got married, he got married like 19, he had a kid at 20 or something. First off, that's very Mars and Aries, like super impulsive. But this is also a karmic lesson for him. He has this Jupiter Chiron conjunction in Cancer. He has a massive wound around home and family. And with a Jupiter Chiron conjunction, I think being a father, building a family, being even a husband, Jupiter is the husband and the spouse in astrology. I think it's actually really healing for him to be a father and to be a husband. It gives him purpose. It gives him direction. And also, her Jupiter's here too. I think that he needed a safe space or a home base. And I think she gave that to him. I mean, I think she had kids even before they met. So I think that he found like found family. I don't really know his relationship with his parents or his own family, but maybe he felt like the black sheep. Maybe he felt a bit neglected. Maybe he didn't feel like he had a very structured and loving home. And so Jupiter, Chiron, and Cancer. I also think that another reason why I think it would be very hard for him to leave her is because I think that he really takes his responsibility as a father and a husband very seriously. I don't think he wants to create a broken home, right? And it squares his Mars. So that's really interesting. It means that it quells his impulsive qualities. If he feels like he wants to cheat, if he feels like he wants to move on, if he feels like he grows bored in this relationship, what stops him is his family, his children, his devotion to being a father. And I do think that that's a really fulfilling part of his life. This is a very interesting dynamic. I think that Aaron feels like she is him and he is her. Like it's enmeshed, like beyond enmeshment. I don't know if he would know how to dismantle himself out of this connection. Where's his Saturn? Where is his Saturn? Oh, it's right here in Capricorn. Yeah, like Saturn and Capricorn's very dad vibes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he'd leave her. I think maybe, yeah, I think it's really complicated. This is a really complicated relationship that's built on love as possession. And I say love as possession because it's Venus and Taurus, Mars and Scorpio, Pluto and Lilith. These are the planets that literally these are the signs and planets that deal with property. You are mine and I am yours. Literally. We have cuffed each other. Like that's the vibe. It's like very like, it's a little transactional. It's very, Venus and Taurus, he's a very kind of girly guy. And she's a very masculine woman. I think their relationship roles are inverse. She plays the role of husband. He plays the role of wife. He's the pretty, beautiful, nurturing parent in the home. And she's the strong, sturdy, successful, maybe. I don't even know. Maybe she just has a lot of money. She kind of runs things. They have an inverse relationship. So to finish this off, let's take a look at their dynamic. See his energy towards her and then her energy towards him. So he sees her as the King of Wands. His energy towards her is the King of Wands. Her energy is the Ace of Cups. And between them, well, it's too many cards. We have the Six of Swords. I do think they maybe recently had a rough patch, and I think that they're starting to reach a better place. I think maybe they've been in a bit of a difficult period in their marriage. Let's see his energy towards her again. Yeah, what did I say? Positive movement forward. I think they're entering a more positive period in the relationship, maybe after some tumultuousness. See her energy towards him. The Empress. Okay, So with the King of Wands, I think he's very protective of their relationship. I think if you ever asked him about this relationship, he would defend it with his life. Now, whether or not that means it's healthy, not true. But I do think that he's very protective of her and very protective of his family and very protective of his choices. That is exactly what I would expect of a Mars in Aries with a Venus in Taurus and a Moon in Aquarius. He's stubborn, he's fixed, and he will stand by his decisions. I do think he likes her. I do think that he almost like makes excuses for maybe her bizarre behavior. I think that, I don't know, I feel like he feels like a protector in the relationship. Like he protects her, like she's like fragile or something. Again, I do get like anxiety or like neuroticism from her. Like she's very like anxious and like, I need you, I need you, I need you. I don't think they spend a lot of time apart. Positive movement forward. I don't think he has any thoughts of divorcing her at this time. Although with the Six of Swords between them, I think that they have recently gone through some tumultuous periods. And I think that they're only just starting to reach calmer waters. I don't know if they're as in love as maybe they once were. I do think that the relationship has reached a place where they're staying together almost to prove a point. King of Wands, like he's like, I'm not going to back down. And then her energy, Ace of Cups, she's a very emotional person. And I do think she loves him deeply with the Empress. Like she's the kind of person who's like, you're my husband, the father of my children. Like she loves to be his wife. She loves to be on his arm. She loves to flash it off. Like she loves to kind of rub it in people's faces a little. Like I think she actually thinks it's funny the way that people hate them together. And then it makes her that much happier when she goes out with him and he's still with her. All right, so what's the energy between them? Spiritual union. I don't know, guys. I think even though this relationship is really freaking weird, I think there's a lot of weird dynamics happening. I I think that they both have like an agreement, right? Like it's just like this works for us, right? Like I think again, when you're dealing with Lilith energy, Lilith is taboo. If you have prominent Lilith aspects in a relationship, your relationship, people won't like you together. The other woman energy, there's like cheating or there's like allegations or there's an age gap or there's always messiness when we're dealing with Lilith. And I do think both of them are kind of traumatized people. But I think especially him, I think he's a traumatized person. And I think um, he clings to her in a way that I don't even know if he can be without her, which is probably not healthy. Like, I mean, I'm not one to judge. I don't love to judge people's relationships. I have clients from all kinds of walks of life and all kinds of relationships. But I do think this is maybe not super healthy on either end. And I think it's an odd dynamic. But that's all I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what you guys thought, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.